Hello and welcome to another episode of the Footy Forum. Back again, doing a little special today for Valentine's Day. So happy Valentine's Day to those watching, those
Happy
listening.
Valentine's Day.
Probably be after the day, so thanks, Dan. So if you're watching it later, we hope you had a good Valentine's Day, all of that. So we thought we'd do a little fun episode today. Five themes, let's say, to get us in the mood. And they're really open to interpretation. So there's no kind of right answer. We're not looking for something specific. Five kind of broad little topics that we'll dive into. You know, say when you hear that phrase, you tell us, you know, what that means to you or to myself. And then we're going to open it up. Once we've actually released the episode, we're going to do some polls on Instagram. So make sure you follow us at TFF Media. And we want to hear from our community and hear what they think, what these little categories, words mean to them when we say that. So, I mean, let's just get straight into it. Biggest heartbreak. So I'll come to Jovan first. Jovan, when you hear biggest heartbreak, what does that mean to you?
Quite a lot of things, man, in terms of football context here. So for me, when I looked at obviously the agenda for today's episode, it was clear to me that at least in my lifetime, being a football fan, there's not been a great amount of good moments. Let's put it that way. So that will be the next one. But in terms of heartbreak, there's a ton. So I think the first one for me was in 2010 when Serbia. And this is the first World Cup I remember clearly. And Serbia was in a group with Germany, Ghana, and Australia. I think we had this conversation with Tyrese Fona, as he's, descent is Ghanaian. Serbia entered the tournament with a good team, good manager, and the first time they're going to represent their country as an independent nation. They come into the World Cup and they lose to Ghana 1-0 off a 85th minute penalty. That was a handball. It was shocking. Almost like he was trying to catch the ball or something like that. So it was a penalty. They scored. And to put some salt on the wound there, the goalkeeper of Serbia, Vladimir Stojkovic, asked the Ghanaian player, he's like, where are you going to go? And Ghanaian player told him, I'm going to go down the middle. And Stojkovic laughed as if, that was not the case. Stojkovic goes one way. The guy, true to his word, right down the middle, loses that game.
Jesus Christ.
But this is the problem. This is not the typical heartbreak. We go out in the next game and we beat Germany 1-0. So then, we think, everything is perfect. All we got to do is get a draw against Australia. And if you're able to beat Germany and to be competitive against, the Black Stars that are Ghana, they're a great team, good national team. And somehow we managed to bottle that as well. And we lost 2-1. Wow. We dominated the first half. They scored 2 goals, crazy goals, and we were never. So that was for me the biggest heartbreak in terms of as a kid. There's so many more, a lot more, probably a lot more to come as well. But yeah,
I think they're very fair ones. I'm going to dive on before handing it over to Dan. So for me, a few candidates. Playoff finals have not been the one for me. One at Millennium Stadium, 3-0 battering by Watford in 2006. In Cardiff, and then 2008, I think, League One final against Doncaster, lost that 1-0. A lot of heartbreak there. But the winner most definitely was the season before we got promoted. We got to the playoff semi-finals against Derby, 3rd place. We looked the favourites, Bielsa. Everything had lined up. It was our 100th year coming up. So to be back in the Prem for our 100th year, the stars were aligning. 1-0 win away at Derby, came to the home leg, which I went to. And yeah, it looked like the game was close, but then we leveled it. We had the momentum, and then they went down the other end and got a late winner. And
who scored? Was it Jack? Wasn't it Jack Marriott?
I believe it was Jack. Yeah, it was.
I used to watch him when I went to Luton games. Jack Marriott, class player.
Couldn't believe what I witnessed. I was just in shock, and wow, those were some dark few days. I gotta be honest. I really thought we were going up.
And you wanted me to come for that game. Did you want me to come for that game? Or like?
I think we were talking about it. Yeah.
Man, if I came just for that game and then that's how it ended, it'd be a waste of time.
But let me
See.
tell you, like, it was one that, like, you say that, but from a neutral perspective, it was one of the most exciting games.
It was. I have to say, I watched it. It was a pretty
was-
fucking good game. I have to
It was
say.
3-3 on the night,
Mad.
or 4-3 maybe. I think they maybe nicked
Fourth.
a late one. I can't remember.
I think it was
4-3
4-3.
aggregate maybe. It was 4-3 5-3. Anyway,
Oh,
yeah,
maybe.
crazy game. Oh, I don't. I tried to wipe it from my memory. So that was my heartbreak. Dan, I assume yours is Arsenal related.
Wow, I've got two actually. Well, but I'll start with the Arsenal one, as that's what you correctly assumed. What it's a multitude of things, but it's just more players. So like Thierry Henry, Cesc Fabregas, and like the likes of Alex Song leaving for teams like Barcelona. All happened when the players were at like their utmost peak. Alex Song leaving was so gutting for me because I just thought he was the perfect midfielder at Arsenal. Like he was just crazy good, and they obviously all left for Barcelona because Arsenal weren't cutting it as per usual. And you know, every player always says that if you get an offer from Barcelona, like Real Madrid or whatever, you can't turn it down. So I'm nothing against the players personally, but as an Arsenal fan, it's heartbreaking to see the players of that quality and then go on to do great things as well, past obviously being at Barcelona. So yeah, and then one that I'm sure Morgan will be able to relate to is the squaring it to Sterling in the World Cup.
Yeah,
that was the heartbreaking, because I think, you know, we could have at least potentially got to the final, but whether we would have won that final against France, maybe. I don't know. I think France were too strong, but yeah, it's just the possibility of our country being in a World Cup final. Yeah,
still
no, 100%. You've got to respect the run. It made for a pretty good summer for a lot.
Yeah, you guys aren't like a world class team. It's good. It's good.
Yeah.
Best love story is the next topic we've got on our agenda. So best love story, Jovan, what are you saying for this one?
So whatever you want to call it, you want to call it love story, but for me, it's anyways times that obviously brought pure happiness to me as a football supporter. And again, I kind of touched on it before. There's not been many, which I guess is normal, to be honest, for unless you're a fan of Manchester City or Liverpool lately. But first of all, you guys don't respect your. I know you brought up, which is surprising to me. But what I was getting to is, I'm surprised that you guys decided to. Well, actually, Dan decided to put in England, obviously 3 lions in that thing
on the shirt.
So, which is great. But I mean, that's another thing that I can kind of roast you guys on all day, that you only support your team. First of all, not even during the qualifiers, only when they're in the quarterfinals, maybe. Did you guys even know who you guys played in the group? I think I could tell you. Panama.
Nah, I unfortunately, it's embarrassing.
Belgium,
2018 World
Panama,
Cup.
Tunisia.
You didn't give me a chance.
You wouldn't have got that.
I would have got 2. I would have got 2. I don't know if I would have got Tunisia.
And then you also played Colombia.
Yep.
Yeah, penalty shootout win.
Yep.
And who did you guys play in the quarterfinals? That's my question now. England.
It was a very easy game. Oh, Sweden.
Oh, yes, it was. Yeah.
Oh, shout out.
And to take it even further, Sweden played the round prior Switzerland. And the reason why I know that is obviously because I'm an expert of all these tournaments, but Serbia would have been that team. But anyways, let's focus on the key things here. Is I'm going to take it even further, and I say I'm a supporter of our under-20 national team, which probably you guys have no idea that it even exists, but it does. Serbia in 2015 won the under-20 World Cup, and that was in New Zealand. For me, we won the World Cup. That's unbelievable. That's unbelievable. We beat.
That's a cute love story. That's a cute little love story.
No, wait. Let's look at that. So we go in the final. We could talk about, I know basically the games we played. We won extra time against Hungary in the round of 16. We beat the United States in penalties. We beat Mali on penalties in the semifinals, which is crazy. However, in the final, we go up against Brazil, massive team, massive national team, factory of young players, factory of world-class footballers, and we managed to beat them. Country of 7 million people. Was a massive thing for us. A lot of good players now playing in the national team now through Europe. and the coach of that team is now the coach of Reading, and we'll get Reading to the Premier League sooner rather than later.
Yeah, so interesting you say that, because for me, I interpreted this whole best love story differently. I thought not necessarily biggest heartbreak, I thought, from a personal perspective, but then love story, I thought, what two people, players, or different relationship had this kind of little love story going on? And for me, the first thing that comes to mind, and this is what I kind of rode with, the first thing that came to mind, Bale and Andre Villas-Boas. I think back to his 2013 season when he absolutely erupted on the scene.
They
Before
won so
going
many
over,
trophies, didn't they?
yeah,
Jeez,
before going
the
over,
amount of trophies they won.
before going over to
Yes.
brighter pastures in Madrid and actually winning trophies. But Bale blew up on the scene. He was recognized, worldwide now as one of the best players in the world. That's when he really came up. And I mean, for me, I don't know about you guys, but for me, I just remember all the little memes I'd see and stuff of just like Tottenham team talk, and it was just AVB and Bale there. Just and like, I think, if you look even deeper into it, Bale was always a good player before that season. He won awards in 2011. He's already been recognized, but something about AVB coming on in 2012 really unlocked something. He was able to unlock all of Bale's potential, playing him in a more advanced role, giving him that freedom to roam that we've never seen before. He's always been that left-sided player, but that season he had that freedom to roam around in the middle a bit. And he just, as the season went on, he just got better and better and better before he ended up scoring. I think it was the last-minute winner against Sunderland, if my memory serves correct, on the last game of the season. And yeah, that was just really amazing season, very unique season. And obviously he went on to do amazing things in Madrid before kind of, before the downfall, let's call it, at the end. But yeah, that for me was an interesting love story that I saw. I thought it was a very special, unique kind of one-to-one connection. Yeah.
Morgan's gonna absolutely hate me, but I've gone for another Arsenal one, of course. I loved the moment when Thierry Henry left the club.
Cup.
Hold on, you're not going to say what I think you're going to say, are you? You're going to do that to me. You're going to do this to me.
At the Emirates Stadium under the lights.
Okay, right, we're doing this. Okay,
and he scores
in the FA Cup
against Leeds United.
I was there, I was there.
Mate, you were in the presence of absolute brilliance and legend status. Thierry Henry comes on the pitch and he scores I think an incredible finish for Arsenal. And against
tough.
Leeds in the FA Cup.
It's a great
what
scene.
A love
so
story.
The stadium erupted. Yeah,
exactly.
You know what? It hurts, but I'll give you it. All right.
Right,
let's move on.
Very good moment.
Let's move on.
Yeah,
so I like this one. Last minute magic. Oh. So Dan, I'm gonna flip it. Dan, what we got?
The one I've got, it has to be the Aguero Man City to win the title. Yeah, but like that, I don't think. I mean, it potentially, but I doubt that will ever happen again. Like in that sort of fashion and the way that
for sure.
that whole happened, and they stole the title from like their next door neighbors. Like, yeah, that will never happen again. And like the atmosphere and everything surrounding that moment, that will live. That is one of the most, if not the most, iconic Premier League moment of all time. So, and that was a last minute goal to win the title. So that's my last minute magic. Yeah.
Yeah. No, when you said like, it might not ever happen again. Obviously things have to repeat themselves. But if you actually take it for what it is and say that just all those stars aligned, where two Manchester clubs, both looking for the title, they came from, behind in terms, I think,
True.
Man
But
City
you
was
should
playing
never
QPR.
be behind on the final day to a already relegated side.
Just QPR,
I get the nerves and stuff, but you should never be 2-1 down and 1-0 down to
that's
so
side. Easier. That's so much easier said than done, man. QPR, they're like this. Let's go spoil a day. They probably had zero, as you said, zero pressure on them. They would probably just swing for the fences with all they did. Freedom. And then Man City has to know, okay, we have to win this game. It's I mean, yeah, sure, they did in the end just because of, the brilliance, the talent, the individual brilliance, obviously, of Aguero in this case, but the whole team really came together and to those 2 goals. I don't know. Like, I mean, you took mine as well, so I'm not even gonna talk on this as well. I think this is the only thing you can talk about.
For me, interesting. Well, for me, I do have a slightly different one, and there's one reason alone why. For me, that's the Troy Deeney goal.
Oh my god.
That was wow. You know what it was for me that makes it top Aguero? Both of them equally so. It's firstly when you think about that versus a cup moment or something like that. There's something about a league when it happens on the final day of a league. That's your whole season. Do you know what I mean? That's everything accumulated. Like Man City's whole season came down to those few moments. That's how crazy football can be. You think about whatever 38 times 90 is, how many minutes of football that is. Not going to try and do the math right here, right now, but it's like definitely over 3,000. So crazy number of minutes, all coming down to a few moments. Like that's crazy. But this is why Dini, to go from having a penalty awarded against you to scoring at the other end in a minute on the final day when the penalty would have taken the other team through, and you go and not only save the penalty but score on the other end, like. As a fan, imagine being so nervous for his first second that you get a penalty, and then so elated that you've scored a goal to win it. Like that for me is just like that for me is the most insane football moment that will ever happen, ever.
You really think
Unless
it's like
something
up there? I wouldn't say.
You're going from one extreme to the next. You know, you're going from
like the stage doesn't matter for me. Like the fact it's championship, not Premier. Like for me. That doesn't matter. That just means maybe.
Well, also look at the money involved, right? With that game,
massive.
like that's the most expensive game in world football, right? So, I mean, that's big too. I mean, and also you got to look at like the amount of people it affected, right? Like you're talking about this, and a lot of people won't even have known about this because they're not, they don't follow either, Watford or maybe they might not.
It's a pretty small club, so.
Yeah. I mean, it is, but no, I mean that shouldn't take from it. Obviously, the what that means, what that from going. A lot of them probably thought, you know what, here we go again, being so close, and then from saving the penalty, and then they probably, you get a massive jolt of energy there and like belief and like.
Imagine driving down the pitch. Oh my god! Like obviously, so Talia, who we had in the episode for a single episode, obviously we had her on. And she speaks about being one of the greatest moments of her life. So the next one, for me, this one's very open. International love. That could mean something to do with a club, a country. That one's very open when it comes to international love. Good song as well. Anyway,
so international.
So here's mine. When I thought about international love, I thought, maybe something with a country. Is there a player that's really passionate for the country? And I could probably name quite a few examples, but what stands out for me is this. So as you know, recently in the 2019 Champions League final and Europa League final featured all English teams. And let me just read you some statistics to tell you, kind of paint a picture. So there's been the same nation playing in the Champions League final 6 times and in the Europa League only 3 times. And before 2019, only a few times had it been done. There's 3 teams across the 4 slots, but never before all 4. There's been the first team to do it were Germany in 1980. And then 3 times in the 90s, Italy did it. All of the times featured Juventus and other teams. 2008, we did it.
I get it. But where's the international part in that? In an all English last 4 of the Champions League. Where's the international thing in that?
No, for me, it's about us, English teams.
You mean
succeeding.
national love? National love.
No. International love being on the international stage of the Champions League and the Europa League. That's, let's say, obviously there's fans that watch the Premier League in other countries, but there are a lot of fans who follow the UEFA, the domestic league, and then the Champions League and the Europa League, but not necessarily the Premier League. So I think on that larger stage, to have all English teams across there, for me, that's kind of the moment that stood out for me. So
listen, don't get me wrong. That's obviously impressive from an English, footballing standpoint. But in terms of that just shows the mentality of the average Englishman. They think international loves mean 2 English clubs in the final of the Champions League. That's you can find that in Manchester, man. I mean, the way I look at it, for me at least, and I'm gonna sell you a tournament that never happened, and that might not ever happen in the way it's supposed to happen. But for me, when I think of international love, I think of uniting of countries. Kind of that makes in the word, you can kind of figure that out. There's nowhere in the word that says 4 English teams, only English, purely domestic. However, Euro 2020, that should have seen I think 12 countries hosting that Euro 2020 major tournament. I think it was the 60-year anniversary of the tournament or something like that. So
it's an anniversary.
It was huge. It should have been huge in terms of obviously uniting countries, not one single host nation. Which there's obviously pluses of that as well. But in this case, it was just going to be a celebration all around Europe. Didn't happen, and now it's supposed to be rescheduled, obviously for later on in the summer this year. But whether they will do it in the international kind of uniting context, I don't know if it really makes sense given where everyone's at right now. So I'd imagine, I know there's been talks about having it in one central location. I know Russia really wanted it to be there. And for me, if it was in Russia, I would be very happy because Russia, and I don't think they get the credit for what they did, but the World Cup 2018 was one of the best World Cups ever in terms of what they put on. I wasn't at the World Cup, but I was in Russia at the Luzhniki Stadium and in Moscow where the final was. Man, unbelievable.
Great stadium, really.
Stadium. And so good country too. Russia's a really good country. So a lot of people forget that. But yeah, let's move on from there.
Dan?
Again, the topic is international love, not domestic love.
So yeah, mine's similar to sort of Jovan's in a way, maybe for different reasons, but I've gone for the World Cup in general. Obviously, happens for once every 4 years. My apologies. And yeah, like no one doesn't not watch the World Cup. Like I know when I watch it here, everyone gets involved. Like people that are not even into football, you can still, I think, appreciate what it means for a country, and it's something that everyone can just get behind and get into. You can't apply it to every single person, but the majority of people come together for it. And I think, obviously, the England was a great example. I don't just want to use them, but you can see like they have the big. I actually went to Copenhagen when Denmark were playing the World Cup. I believe it might have been. Pretty sure it was the World Cup, and like just alongside the river, there was just like this massive viewing, and there were so many people, and there's just these big screens up there, and everyone gets involved, and the atmosphere is just crazy. So I think in sort of with the theme of international love, just bringing a whole country together to unite and support their nation in attempting to win the trophy, obviously. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if I was going with Daniel's wavelength there, I would say like, I don't know if you guys remember, but the South Africa World Cup, there was just something special about it. You think about Shakira with that song, the Vuvuzelas.
Waka waka.
The baller was actually quite nice as well. What was it called?
Oh yeah, but it didn't have wasn't there a lot of things about it because it was so light and it moved in the air. Am I right?
Yeah, there
were a lot of things
about
that.
You're right. Yeah,
I remember that.
Nice looking ball.
They call it the Jambolani ball. Jambolani.
Yeah. So just a brief one for you today. Just a little Valentine's Day special. We hope you enjoyed it. We're gonna be posting on Instagram. We want to hear what your thoughts are when you hear the same categories or however you want to group them. So if you're listening on Valentine's Day, have a great Valentine's Day. Whether you're single in a relationship, it's just about spreading love for us, for the game, but also for each other. So yeah. We hope you have a good day, and yeah, we'll be seeing you very soon, I'm sure. Next episode coming up, Matt Lockwood 2-parter. Very excited to get that out with you. Don't forget to subscribe. We're almost at 100 subscribers. We get our custom URL. Very excited for that. And
let's go.
Yeah, and make sure you keep streaming however you do it, and we hope you enjoy. Take care.
Happy Sunday. See you guys.
Happy Valentine's Day.